Castle Santiago, home to a dreadful dynasty of vicious video gaming vampires. Legend has it that these evil beings can be destroyed by a stake through the heart, or exposure to sunlight. This does not suffice, however, or they may be brought back to life by means of a sacred rite that can be performed once a century where the moon is in the third house of Pisces. Slayer Santiago, the world's one and only video gaming vampire, has awakened and is ready to take over planet Earth. With the help of Vampire Command, the entire galaxy.
Of those who fight never cease!
The intro always scares the hell out of me. Could y'all even hear that? What's going on? There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See, now why isn't this working over here? It's not a good sign. Never a good sign when you go to press a button on your computer and you hear this. Gotta talk to the IT department about upgrading me to Windows 10. Or something. Hello. It's a good sound. So what are we watching today? Ratchet and Clank? Ratchet and Clank, huh? Well, I suppose we should go to the one place that, well, we should really watch this. Man, they expected direct. It's gonna be indie games and Ratchet and Clank, which I gotta be honest, I was a Jack and Daxter guy growing up, so. Sorry. To the office. Which one is the... here we go. New scene. Made all by me, of course. Got my portrait over there. We get the Vampire Command logo. We get the screen behind me. You know, this is not just some, you know, screwball screen. Of course, now it doesn't work, but it's all right. It's all right. Oh, I see. It's all the way over here. Boom. Oh, that looks weird. This looks like a waiting room. It kind of is. Don't mind the green screen. That's, I don't actually know what that is. We're going to ignore it for now. Still going to work out the kinks. Gotta still work out the kinks here. Trying new things. You know, but of course, we'll go to the main one. This is the main one. There we go. A green screen for the green screen. I think what I have to do, if any of you guys stream, there's a new plugin that I discovered for OBS, and it's called StreamFX. And what it allows you to do, and you know, if you've never done this, you just won't know, but or if you've done any design work, being able to skew like objects in OBS is not possible. So being able to like distort them and have things appear slanted, kind of like that screen behind me. That's how you would do it, which I didn't know. I've never looked at any other really like wild plugins for OBS other than just relying on, you know, the effects that I know how to do. So that was pretty cool. Now hang on just a second here. I remember the last time what were we doing the last time we were here? Hey, yeah. I know, once Echo S gets all finished, I would definitely want to stream that. How awesome would that be? If you could just stream that and, you know, no big deal. Especially when it's so easy to do in 7th Heaven, the mod manager. Sorry about that, just rearranging my windows here. There we go, that's a little better, isn't it? Doom Eternal, good one. Very good. In all seriousness, I went nuts. Essentially, I think whatever between the last time that I streamed and today, I went nuts on like the PlayStation Store because I thought it was closing. And either that was the greatest marketing strategy of Sony of all time, or they really are not closing it. And they never were planning on closing any of the stores. But I went like nuts, and I went and I bought Monster Hunter. I want to get in that game so bad. It's just that I just don't think I don't know. Maybe I'm just not for Monster Hunter. I did start playing Nier Replicant last night, the remake, and that is a good game. I've been playing that a lot. I've been playing I don't play many of the sports games, but I do like the MLB games. I just think it's well done. I like playing those. Not so much into the whole, like, what do they call those? The V. They're kind of like V-Bucks for MLB. They're like these like called subs, I think. I'm not really into doing that and like, you know, doing the perfect team and stuff. But I like just playing online matches with that, so that's been fun. And then what the heck else have I been playing? Oh yeah, and a bunch of the I've been getting into like a lot of the PSP games because I've never played any of them. Like the Power Stone collection. Never played that. I got Breath of Fire 3? Whatever the exclusive one that was just for the PSP. I think it was 3. Yeah, it is. Monster Hunter. I also have like Returnal that's coming. I have new Pokemon Snap, which I'll probably play that more with Mrs. Santiago. You know, that's kind of... I showed her like the original Pokemon Snap one time, and she became obsessed with it, so I will likely just play new Pokemon Snap with her. But for me, like for my sinking my own teeth into, I will probably play Returnal. And I'll probably get back into some Mortal Kombat because I saw that new Mortal Kombat movie and I've been obsessed. I went and I watched the really bad Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which I think was like the 1997 film, whatever. The one with the guy who played Dexter's dad from Dexter, not the one with Lambert, Christopher Lambert, not the one with Lambert Raiden. Was that actually good? It was. You want to talk about, okay, so I mean, the bar was set very low, all right? The bar was set super low because the first two Mortal Kombat live action movies, I didn't think were that good. First one was a little bit better than the second, was definitely like a lot better than the second one, but this new one, it like does it pretty well. There's some like acknowledgments to characters that I don't like. They I'm not gonna spoil it at all, but there's like characters that they don't outright acknowledge, but they definitely like show the visualizations that you're like, oh yeah, that's so and so. You left this movie wanting to see more of the cast. Let's just put it that way. It's a video game movie, yeah. It's like gory Street Fighter, so. But I think it has more character. It's definitely not the best. It's definitely not the best video game live action movie. That goes to Mario Brothers for how weird it is. But this Mortal Kombat movie, I think, is actually really good. It's actually much. I went in with low expectations and I came out actually being kind of impressed. And the effects like weren't bad either. Actually, they were pretty good. And like the acting, it was. I don't know. There's some things I'm like, eh. There's some big characters that they could have thrown in there that they decided not to have in, but it's like, that's kind of the problem that those other movies suffered from, is that they kind of tried to shoehorn in all of these characters, like the Street Fighter movie with, Raul Julia. They shoehorned everyone in the whole, Super Street Fighter cast in there, and it blew up in their face. It wasn't a good idea. So I think that this new Mortal Kombat, what they've learned from is not to shoehorn in every character, and like a good origin movie, space out the characters, Second one was not good. Second Tomb Raider was not good. First Tomb Raider was good. I think a lot of people just wanted to see Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft. And it's like kind of weird for me now, because now anytime I think of Angelina Jolie, I synonymously think of Lara Croft. I had heard also when she did the second movie, she really didn't want to do it, but the money was good. So she was also signed up for a sequel, I guess, when she signed on to the first film. So maybe that's why the second Tomb Raider didn't do too well. I don't know. I need to talk more about cinema on my channel, because I have some bizarro theories and interesting little facts about all those terrible movies. Yeah, she didn't, but it was Angelina Jolie, so. But in terms of surprises of what we're going to see from the state of play, indie games, can I just say, what if like Square Enix decided to say, hey, one of our little spin-off indie developers, we decided to task them with making a new Final Fantasy Tactics game. I think that would be considered an indie title. Or what if we had some kind of like, someone was saying, oh yeah, what if an indie developer of Sony's, if they show them, they show off like what they've done, and they go out and this little indie developer, they developed, I don't know if you guys remember this, it was part of the PlayStation 3 ecosystem. I think it was actually for one of the E3s. I remember like seeing it on YouTube and being like blown away by it. And it was like something like you could have like a home. You could have like some kind of like PlayStation house and create an avatar, and you could go and walk around to like different things. And I remember they had some kind of, exhibit floor or something set up for one of the E3s or something. And I just remember being blown away by that. I would not be surprised if PlayStation decides to bring that back in some capacity with the new headset. Some kind of app or some kind of like killer app. It's like, oh yeah, we had this little indie, studio with like 4 guys put together a new PlayStation Home. I don't know. I was thinking about PlayStation Home, and I was like, yeah. I was like, why? It's probably why it's coming up in one of my recommended videos here. I remember like looking it up and being like, why wasn't that thing still going? I don't know. I think and that's what I got confused with. I had thought originally that PlayStation Home was Second Life, And I was like, wait a minute, was Second Life something developed by PlayStation? And then I got confused, but yeah, Second Life was weird. The State of Play stuff is only, I mean, they literally even say right here that it's going to be Rift Apart. So it's going to be Ratchet and Clank. And then they say, and plus a quick look at a pair of upcoming indie titles. So I'm going to guess it's going to be just like, I don't know. Sometimes like with Sony and stuff, they're like, yeah, it's going to be a couple of indie titles. And it ends up being like, oh, it's like an indie title from like Square Enix or something. It's like, oh, you mean it's like a super indie title? Like, I feel like they need to start kind of having that category, because then you have like Hades. Hades is a super indie title, you know? What was that other one made by the BioShock team? We Happy Few. That I consider like a super indie title. There are like different tiers of indie games. I feel like they should be recognized. I don't know. That's just me though. I also just want to see, I'm kind of like sitting here and I have my PlayStation 5 and it's good, and you know, and other than the capacitors making a lot of noise sometimes when I'm playing certain games, or other than the fact it sounds louder than my PlayStation 3 sometimes when I put a disc in it for the first time, I'm like still like outside of Miles Morales. Outside of Miles Morales, I'm still kind of waiting to see that next gen kind of quality, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for it. And I haven't seen a game that really takes advantage of it fully. Like the ray tracing a little bit in Miles Morales, yeah, it's okay, but there's so much more to next gen than just doing a little bit of reflective ray tracing. That's pretty small potatoes for some of these high-end GPUs. We just need PlayStation titles that really show off the console. I kind of even criticize Xbox about that too. We really need like games that actually show off the actual capacity to these consoles. I hope so. I mean, the thing is, like, you know, some of these like older, so what's going to happen in the next like 5 or 6 years or so, I have a feeling, is that what the developers of some of these like older games or games that came out last generation will do, they'll make them next genified by, you know, splashing a little of the art, you know, the ray tracing on them, giving those nice, you know, crisp, clear reflections, you know, premium anti-aliasing, you know, very smoothed out polygons, you know, no rough edges at all. I think you're going to see a lot of those games kind of go over to that. That'll be kind of like the next, like, quote unquote, like remake kind of phase that we're going through. You remember how like everything's been like remade, and we're still kind of going through the remake phase of these developers remaking their old games. You know, The Last of Us remastered Final Fantasy VII remake, even though it's more of a sequel than a remake. You know, we're kind of going through this redoing area. I feel like the next thing that's going to happen in terms of that is going to be taking the games from the generation prior and kind of putting them through that cycle. And I kind of just hope that they're doing that to kind of like prep themselves for actually putting next gen titles on these things, or getting themselves ready, getting some of these studios ready. I don't know, it's been weird. Yeah, the demo for Resident Evil, that was cool. That had some performance wise, was a little bit iffy on the PlayStation. I'm a little bit like thinking that the PlayStation 5, like, this is kind of what I've been thinking. I feel like the PlayStation 5 either is like a halfway step, you know what I mean? Kind of like a half, like whatever, kind of like a half step. Oh, the Unreal 5 engine demo, yeah, I saw that on Twitter. That, I thought that was The Sims. I was like, damn, EA, you are blowing me away with this. What I will say is that I hope The Sims 5 is not mobile only. Now let's see, if I go to my chat window, is it going to screw up completely? We'll see. Oh no, we're good. We're good. Oh, except it's not there at all. You know, EA. Always looking to stick their hands in everything. Yeah. Isn't it weird how that's like one of the only games that fully utilizes the console? The pack-in title. I'm not, you know, and I'm not being, excuse me, critical on just Sony. Microsoft, what the hell they got? Other than the damn backwards compatibility, which, by the way, not every game works for. I know that Xbox, they like to go on and on about backwards compatibility, and I love the fact that the Xbox can play a lot of backwards compatible games, but it can't play every single backwards compatible game. I don't know, but it is still weird that I'm like, you know, in order to play like, you know, Power Stone without owning a Dreamcast copy, I gotta go and download the digital version of it. Like, if I wanted to play it legitimately in HD, in some kind of scalable HD format, I have to go and get it for like my on my PSP, the Power Stone collection. Either that or I mod like a Dreamcast to have like an HDMI output. I'm not gonna do that. I only have like 3 Dreamcast games. Tech demo-y games like we did back in the... Yeah, we do. Far Cry. It's just purely there to just push the hardware. Yes. Yeah, remember how laggy and janky some of those games pushed the hardware? We needed that. I remember playing like the original Grand Theft Auto 4 on like my... I still have it. It still works. My original like white clunky, like, you know, the one that was always susceptible to the red ring of death, like Grand Theft Auto 4 running on that thing, and it was just chugging. And it sounded like a jet engine. But it worked. May have only ran at 30 frames per second, 28 if I was lucky, you know? But, yeah, Half-Life 2. Yeah, I don't know. It's like we're kind of like approaching this weird ceiling of like the hardware that we have now, like the actual gold transistors, the thing like gold we use to conduct electric, like we need to find some other kind of material that will allow us to transmit data faster without using gold transistors. I know. Well, I was trying to play like what was it, Mass Effect 3 on an original PlayStation 3. Man, oh man. BioWare, when they made that game, they did not have the original base model, the PlayStation 3 Fats in mind. When they came out with that, they had like the slim models in mind. You know what I mean? I know. Well, I think actually we're kind of there, because my computers are already pretty big, and I know like there is no metal on Earth, at least not to our knowledge, there is no metal on Earth that will be able to provide like faster data transfer than the gold transistors and the actual gold that we use like on our processor chips. Like we don't have a metal that can conduct electricity faster than gold. We just don't have. I don't think we have anything here. I think out in space there is that stuff, but you got to get gutsy with that. You got to get some. We got to get Elon Musk out to Mars. Now I'm pretty sure Mars doesn't have any metals that we already don't know about. Hey, what's up, Wesley? I know you from my Discord. Hello. And money. I know. How about like the graphics card situation, huh? I feel like an idiot still not Still not having one. I need to get a 3080 at some point. It's kind of ridiculous now that I see these advertisements for, like, you know, NVIDIA being like, yep, we just updated DLSS on Overwatch. And I'm like, that's great, guys. Like, why are you showing off something for cards that you guys aren't selling? Don't advertise things you're not selling. Kind of just like, seems like you're out of touch. I don't know. I know they get to advertise and social media guys got to make money too, but that just seems so stupid. Don't advertise products you don't have. Well, he must have paid an arm and a leg. Either that or he must have known someone who like works at like Best Buy or something, like on one of those stores. I know everything's out, even like low tech. Like if you want like a 1660 or something like that, you can't even get those. The cards that I have in both of my PCs, you cannot find. Which, by the way, I'm rocking like a 1080 Ti and a 1050 Ti. You can't even get those cards anymore. And if you can, or you find them on eBay, they're like going for thousands, which is ridiculous because those cards are not worth thousands. I don't really know how this whole semiconductor shortage is going to get solved, because the infrastructure needed to support big factories that make semiconductors is just like, that's huge. And then don't even get me started about the Sony situation. I don't even know how do you advertise a product that you don't have. I don't get it. Monitors, I know. There's a plethora of screens. Yeah, because the TV manufacturers knew everyone was going to be home for the pandemic and everyone needed to spruce up their home office. So they were, what about Nintendo? I mean, what about them? So Nintendo, based on what I'm understanding from the hardware architecture that's going into this Aura, this Nintendo Switch Pro, Nintendo, they have secured what they've needed in terms of their hardware when they were doing the revision for the Switch Lite. It's my understanding that when they did the revision for the Switch Lite and they put in their orders for certain hardware components, they also put in their first order of production of the Switch Auras, the 4K switches, that I think are going to be revealed. Don't quote me on this, but I think they're going to be revealed at E3 in June. And I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be their launch, the big launch. Because think about it, Breath of the Wild 1 was for the first Switch, you know, Breath of the Wild 2 coming out for the second one. Just, that kind of makes sense. My message didn't show. I think you're good now. Knockos, I know. Used. Yeah, none of these. That's the thing, is that you go and you find any new cards, like you go find a 3080 new, it's like $5,000 minimum. Used, get away with it for 2K. I know. I actually have been looking into a few pre-built PCs because I'm so desperate. But I don't want like an air-cooled car. I want a water-cooled car. I want, like, you know, I want my EVGA 3080 hybrid. That's the card I've been looking for. But EVGA, they're not making cards, so none of these guys are. Can you guys hear this okay? Let me go back to this main screen here. Now, do you guys want me big or do you guys want me little? We always kind of go through this. Big Slayer, big reaction, regular screen, or little Slayer, big screen? Favorite legendary Pokemon? Probably Zapdos. Darkrai is my favorite Pokemon, but he's not legendary. That's really good. Too big for cheese. That's a really good price. Big? Okay. We'll stay big. Oh, wait a minute. This isn't even... There we go. That's better. I have not looked at any of the footage prior to this. I've really been trying to stay offline for all this stuff. I like being surprised. That's why I didn't go on Silicon Era before Yuffie's DLC announcement. I wanted to be surprised. I do like these like graphics. Not this so much. This is very cliche, but the whole ocean of the PlayStation logos, the little button icons, that's very clever. I like that. Not the rolling so much, but all right, let's see what this is all about. Let's see, assholes.
Welcome to an all-new State of Play. We've got more than 15 minutes of new Ratchet Clank Rift Apart PS5 gameplay coming right up. But first, let's check in on 2 other exciting games coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 consoles this year.
Oh, we're getting PlayStation 4 information too.
Made it to 4546B. Landing was a bit rough, but I don't think they spotted me.
Hi, I'm Jeff, audio producer at Unknown Worlds. Set 1 year after the award-winning original, Subnautica Below Zero plunges players into a frigid underwater adventure in search of answers.
This is gonna be, remember what I was
Here,
saying?
the native wildlife above
The
and below
super
the surface
indie game?
might consider you a tasty treat.
This is a
assuming you don't
super
become
indie
an ice
game.
pop first. The previous research crew has vanished, including your sister.
This was Sam's necklace. She never took it off.
To uncover the truth, you'll need to
never
get
took it off,
crafty,
not even to
building
take a
tools and
dump.
shelter for your survival. But even that may not be enough.
Like Subnautica, that's made by a company that's not very big. Subnautica is a
With
super
the
indie game.
PS5 DualSense controller, every icy shock feels like it's being sent right into your hands. The haptic feedback system allows you to feel each adrenaline-filled chase and provides visual and audio cues as you use resources, encounter key game moments, or get into
You
situations
guys ever played
where it's
Subnautica before?
probably
It's
best
terrifying.
to run. By the time you squint to see what's ahead, it may already be too late. Fortunately, when you play Below Zero on PS5, players will get a crystal clear experience with up to 4K graphics, targeting 60 FPS when in performance mode.
Targeting.
And if you already own a physical or digital version of the first Subnautica on PS4, you'll be able to upgrade to the digital PS5 version at no additional cost. We hope you're as excited as we are to dive
Will there
into
be
the
ray
world of
tracing on the
Subnautica
original
Below
Subnautica?
Zero when it launches on PS5 and PS4 on May 14th.
So is Below Zero, is this an expansion to the original game, or is it just a new game? Also, has this game not been on PlayStation yet? Get shocked, yes. I know. I really like... I'm just not a fan. I don't know. Even like my
Can't wait to dive
personal
deep into
friends, I've
Subnautica
tried to get them to
Below
play.
Zero and
It's
make
just
baseless
not
accusations
fun.
against
I don't
our
know why.
roommates in Among Us later this year. Looks like
Oh,
Ratchet
okay, it
and the
never
gang
came.
are ready for the spotlight. Next up, Insomniac Games will lead us on
So
a
was that
tour
it for
of
the
this
indie
June's
games?
PS5
It was just
action
Among
adventure.
Us and Subnautica for PlayStation 5. Evil robot.
Missing robot located. Initiating retrieval.
Anyone getting like Gadget from Rescue Ranger vibes from Rivet here?
I'm Marcus Smith, creative director of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, a
So
brand
far,
new
5 out of
full-length
10.
Ratchet & Clank adventure built from
More
the
like
ground
7
up
out of
for
10,
the
well.
PlayStation 5 console. Today we're going to introduce you to some of the gameplay,
There's not going to be any like
characters,
big
and arsenal
surprises.
of Rift Apart.
I don't.
Whether
I
you've
really
played
just.
every game since
There's not
Ratchet
going to be
Clank's
big
debut,
surprises.
or you're brand new to the series, Rift Apart is a
Not unless
standalone
like
adventure
Jack
that
and
you won't
Daxter
want
like
to
make an
miss.
appearance in this game.
Let's get into it.
Which I gotta be honest, that would be wild.
Clank?
Rift Apart.
Clank?
Kind of. I don't know. Do that like multiverse, like
Comebacks?
just throw some of the
What
other
is this
characters in
place?
from these collectathons from over the years.
Where are you, Clank? Maybe someone around here has seen him.
How long have they been working on this game
robot
for?
Anywhere?
It looks great. Whoa. Hey.
Green eyes, red antenna, very charming.
Let's put it on auto.
Ratchet has been separated from his best friend and partner Clank, and is now in a new dimension and a mysterious urban sprawl called Nefarious City.
Is that just like a default move that he just did there? Interesting. When I look at some of these games, it's like, this is like what I envisioned as like a kid, even though, you know, these original games, like, you know, were really polygon heavy and they didn't look as nice. It's like this is what I imagine like in my brain. I don't know.
Ratchet quickly
I don't know if
finds
anyone
out
else has
that in
had that
this
similar
dimension,
kind of experience
Dr.
with some of these
Nefarious
newer
is a
games.
much more capable villain.
Welcome to the Nefarious City Bazaar. Please remember to thank our marvelous Emperor before, during,
How about Dino Crisis?
Emperor?
How about Blue Point
Does that
makes
mean
Dino Crisis,
there are
remakes
two
Dino Crisis
Nefariouses
1
now?
and 2?
Clank first, Nefarious later. Maybe he's in this bazaar.
Thanks to the new hardware, the worlds in Rift Apart are more beautiful than ever. Cities are full of life with traffic and civilians milling about everywhere.
I mean, that's pretty
Rift
cool,
Apart
but then
is
is that a
full of the
video
unexpected.
that's playing right there with all
Characters
those,
in
like,
this new
you
dimension
know,
are
with
not
all those
always the
ships
same
flying
as
around?
they
Is that
were
just
in
a
Ratchet
video?
Clank's dimension.
Like an MP4 file playing in the sky?
Ratchet comes across Miss Zircon, the weapon vendor in Rift Apart.
Wait a second.
You forgot your order? Well, come right in. Miss Zircon will sell you weapons, but you gotta be less conspicuous, or the resistance will not last.
The resistance?
Oh, the one from 2016?
Oh, apologies, sugar.
That's kind of what
Miss Zircon
FF7R
is
does
still
for me at some
new
point,
to all
same.
of this espionage.
They just made their baseball game multi-platform, so it's no longer exclusive. Very true. I think part of the reason was behind that is because
Clank has been
this,
taken
like,
by a mysterious
newest
new
version of
Lawmax
MLB
named Rivet.
is not, like, there's no ray tracing. It's not, it really is truly not next gen. And the developers came out and they said that, yeah, it's not next gen at all.
I need to go
It's pretty
after
much
that
current
ship.
gen,
How can I get
or
off planet?
last gen. Maybe that's why.
Only royal starships are allowed to leave. Anything else? No.
Also, EA is going to start making baseball games
Just
again,
follow
so
the beat to Club Nefarious
I hope we get
and you will
MVP
find
baseball
him.
back, because
Club
I like
Nefarious,
those
got it.
games versus
and nice
the show
work,
games.
Secret Agent Zircon.
Me personally.
This is so exciting.
Club Nefarious shouldn't be hard to miss.
This also just seems
Gotta
like
look
straight
around.
up movie CGI, and I think that's great. This game looks like movie CGI. Also, like, Nickelodeon made a all CGI Ratchet and Clank movie. It's pretty epic. I don't know if that was any good, but pretty cool.
Dr. Nefarious? So that sounds like a club, all right.
Music sounds very familiar. Sounds like Cyberpunk.
Come on, Phantom, where are you?
Once Ratchet finds Phantom, he learns a couple of new moves.
So you can do like wall dashing with like this Phantom ability.
One of the focal points of gameplay in Rift Apart is increased mobility. Ratchet can now dash and wall run to traverse levels. This focus on mobility allows players to chain
so it's
moves
made
together
universal,
to create
gotcha.
exhilarating combos. Now let's jump into combat.
A nefarious day spa. If you can distract these troopers, I'll hack Nefarious's propaganda blimp and give this city a message it'll never forget.
Looks easy enough.
It's like weird. There's just like eyes glaring at you from that billboard. I don't know if that's just like a static image or if that's just like a development, feature or something. But I think they should
Dashing
put
allows
something
you to
moving
evade
there. I don't know why.
attacks or gain strategic advantages. Enemies can't hit what doesn't momentarily
I don't know.
exist. Dimensional
Combat
tears in
looks
the
cool.
world allow you to use the Rift Tether, another new traversal mechanic to instantly pull yourself across battlefields to escape or flank enemies. Weapons in Rift Apart utilize the power of the DualSense wireless controllers, adaptive triggers, and haptic feedback to allow players to really feel the power of their arsenal.
It's kind of
For
weird that there
example,
hasn't been
with
a
the burst
demo for
pistol,
this game.
Players can
I
pull
was
back
kind of
the
waiting
trigger
for
partway
there to be a
pick out
demo, but
accurately
there really
placed single
hasn't. So
shot.
unless they
Pulling
release
the
one
trigger
today,
fully unleashes a rapid-fire spread that covers more area. In either case, players
Yeah.
will feel each shot burst from the weapon and connect with enemies. With the Enforcer, players can pull the trigger down halfway to fire a
I'm
single
like
barrel,
noticing the one
reducing
thing
time
I'm
between
noticing that just
reloads.
looks really
Or pull the
very
trigger
like
fully
good
and
is like the
unleash both
atmospheric
barrels with a
lighting.
devastating close-range
I think they
attack.
actually call that
Thanks to the
volumetric.
haptics, the player will
Volumetric
feel the
fog and
power of
lighting.
their shots through their hands.
It seems like it's very well done. Like when something blows up, I can see the reflection of light on every object
Let's
around
move
them.
ahead a little bit.
It's pretty good. Very good. It just looks very slick.
As Ratchet attempts to follow Rivet and Clank, he encounters a nefarious juggernaut.
Where did you even come from?
Like the fact that all the environments seem really all fairly destructible. That's very, very. Just it looks well done. I don't know what else to say really.
During this fight, more dimensional
It
chaos
doesn't look
ensues.
like it's an easy game either. It looks like it's kind of
Thanks
difficult.
to the power of the
So,
SSD,
good.
we can near instantly teleport players to completely
I don't like
different
platformers
locations.
that are
This isn't some small arena
too
being
easy.
loaded, but the entire level from a different planet. Let's jump over and see what's going on with Rivet and Clank.
Also, like, I wonder if, like, some of the battlefield, like, placement of those rifts, if that will be random or if that will be static, like, for, like, every game.
As you may
Like,
have
it will
guessed,
be,
Rivet
will it
is a
appear in the
brand
same
new playable
spot
character
in the
in the
same
series.
game as, like, you and I, or will it have, like, different
taking me?
I was gonna take you to my
appearances on the
hideout.
map based on the
First,
game? I don't
gotta
know.
rescue
That's
my
what I'd like
friends
to know.
at the gelatonium factory.
Procedural generated instances. I think that's what that's called.
Rift Apart includes several alternate dimension versions of classic planets from past games.
Very cool.
Great. There's a secret.
Did we mention how stunning and alive our worlds are?
No kidding.
Thanks to the
My
power of
God.
the PS5 and the 3D audio, we've been able to create alien planets
Hey,
with an immersive density
3D
like
audio.
never
That one
before.
thing that Mark Cerny
Let's
went
check it out.
on and on and on and on and on and on and on
That's
and
where
on
I'm gonna
about.
ride one.
3D
Soon as
audio.
I can get close enough.
Back to Ms. Zircon.
We're
the
getting
weapons vendor.
we're getting the first game that's really utilizing
This
the 3D
wasn't what
audio
was in
chip.
my account last time.
Oh, that is because I added our mutual friend on Nefarious City.
Okay.
In Rift Apart, you get to play with an explosive new arsenal, as well as a few returning classics.
You will be missed, sweet thing.
Here's another example of how we're using the DualSense. With the Topiary Sprinkler, players will feel resistance in the trigger as they prepare a throw of this garden grenade. Once on
Gee,
the
I wish I
ground
could
and spitting
feel
out
how
its
this
rapid
was
growth plant
actually like what
fertilizer,
you're
players
describing.
will also feel
Wish I
when
could play
enemies
some
have
kind
been
of demo.
topiaried and are ready to be trimmed down.
Like that like vampiric dash where there's like clones of the character. I just like how that looks.
That's Speedle Bank.
It appears some dimensional distortion is
I
emanating
enjoy
from that
it.
cave.
Damn.
In addition to rift tethering and dimensional shifts, there are also many pocket dimensions scattered
That's
throughout
correct.
the game.
And the last Speedle runs into that rift thingy.
Interesting. You must have a rift tether in your glove, too.
Also, there's like all the I gotta still.
Alright,
I'm like thinking. I'm
What
watching
is
this
this
and I'm
place?
thinking like, do I have all the Ratchet and Clank
A
games like
dimensional pocket?
available
Perhaps a symptom
before one
of
of
the
these stores
Dimensionator's
gets shut? I don't know.
destruction.
I have to go and get the
Come up with
the
this.
future collection. There was also a PSP like exclusive Ratchet and Clank game that I gotta get.
Hey, it's Maynard.
I'm gonna be spending a
the
lot of
What's
money
His
getting
Hope
on all
lot.
those digital
Must have
games.
wandered in through the rift somehow.
There is the Speedle.
No, don't hide. Ah.
Hitting its nest might get its attention.
Well, hello.
Beating it to death might get its attention. Oh. You don't say.
Dear.
Maybe
Only the
Maynard
PSP
can
is shutting
use
down
your
for
voice.
now. For now. And it's weird because like you can't like the actual like if you have a PSP and you log online with it, you go to the PSP like online store with in the console, you can't see anything there. There's nothing there. It doesn't load up. So the only way that you can buy things is, for me anyways, is I have to buy it
Riding
like through like
Speedles
my
is one way of
PlayStation
traversing
3
Sargasso's
digital
acid
store,
swamps,
which is
and to
awful.
do so quickly.
Excuse me.
Thing runs like hell.
Look out!
I got it. See?
The actual like
Sometimes I don't
digital
crash.
web page for like the old PSN store doesn't like exist anymore,
Stop.
which is awful.
There's the gelatonium factory. I'm coming, Morts.
We didn't follow that Lombax and his Robopet across dimensions just to get stopped by some fuzzballs.
Street Sharks.
So you got like
Anyone remember
9.5
that?
seconds to tell us where they're at. 1.
Like giant
Hang on there now.
caricatures
If you
of
watched our
street
previous
sharks on
gameplay demo, you
rollerblades.
may recognize the Goons for Less. This rebranded gang has been hired by Dr. Nefarious to attack Ratchet and Clank, and are now also trapped in Rivet's dimension. Here's another new weapon. The Shatter Bomb is a frag
do?
type grenade that deals a lot of
I used to
damage
have
your
them too, but
foes.
I don't know where they
With
went.
haptic feedback, each explosion feels incredible.
Pretty sure they suffered the same fate as Stretch Armstrong, probably got thrown away. Although, Transformers were saved, so thank you, Mama Santiago,
This is coming from.
for saving all my
Perhaps they were
Transformers.
sucked through the dimensional vortex as well.
I'm looking at all this and all the detail and stuff, and all I'm thinking is, man, that took someone a long time to program all this stuff, all the, like the little explosions and the tessellations of everything, like little bits of the fur tail flying everywhere. Like, you know, my God, that took someone a long time to animate. Like that stuff, like even just the actual like texture on the laser. It's like, man,
This is just a small taste of some of the early
Very
gameplay
impressive.
in Rift Apart, but there is so much more.
more?
We have open areas to explore,
Oh, cool.
dimensional Clank puzzles,
Nice.
glitch challenges, arena challenges,
Multiplayer?
aerial combat,
Nice.
gold bolts to collect, pocket dimensions to explore. Armor to obtain and use in the first ever Ratchet & Clank photo mode.
Oh. Wow.
And giving more people access to playing our games is always important to us. As such, Rift Apart will offer a slew of accessibility options.
Very nice.
We'll reveal more about this soon. Experience Rift
Are you
Apart
kidding
through
me?
planets, weapons, intense
Whatever that
high-action
mode
combat,
was
and
awesome.
near instant load times, all with some of the best visuals we've ever created.
Yeah, I'll say. Looks great.
These rifts are getting out of hand.
On behalf of all of us at Insomniac Games, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the Omniverse on June 11th.
That's our show.
Oh,
We
really?
explored the depths of an alien ocean, got a first look at Among Us on PlayStation, and zipped across space and time in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
It was super quick. Yo, that was the fastest state of play I think I've ever watched.
Ratchet and Clank! What a wonderful surprise!
What do you want, Nefarious?
We're going to a dimension where I always win!
Clank? Where am I? A Lombax?
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Rivet. Let's go for a ride.
I'm the
Wait,
female
I
version
have to
of
find
Ratchet.
My friend.
Emperor
They got
Nefarious,
Devo
you
to
have
give them their
returned.
song for this little promo trailer. Mark Mothersbaugh had to sign off on it.
You're Nefarious. He looks a lot like mine. Evil like him too. And that Lombax.
I'm coming, Clank.
If we do not get the Dimensionator now, we may lose every dimension. Oh my.
This reads like a movie trailer. Like I feel like it's for like a sequel of that Ratchet and Clank movie. But that's good. I think it's the game looks really good. For like an animated kind of like platformy kind of like game, it looks really, really, really good. Like, dare I say it, I feel like Platonic Games wished that Yooka-Laylee could look as good as that. I just, you know, I know there's only so much you can do on Unity, but yeah, that looks really very nice. So is this over or what? Yeah, it's over. Wow. Well, that was incredibly short. I don't really have much else to say about it other than it looks good. I honestly didn't need to see this. I was already like sold on Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Game making isn't easy. It certainly doesn't seem like it is. All that probably took someone, especially the VFX artists, like a very long time. Even just like the trailer. The people who actually like edited the trailer. That took a long time too. And I bet there was a bunch of creative fighting like, no, put this scene in there. No, we want that scene because that scene has the gender swapped, you know, Lombax. It's like, you know, all that I'm sure it took a long time as well. I bet, yeah. I'd say the really good ones take forever. Except, of course, unless it's Earthbound 64. And oh yeah, the other game that I've been playing a lot of is the Xenia or the GoldenEye remastered, which I actually thought was pretty good. I'm playing on the newest updated version of Xenia, which has been actually a lot of fun. More fun than I thought. But yeah. There's really like, I don't even know. I did not even expect there to be like any big surprises. There wasn't. The two indie games they showed off were, one of them wasn't even really a surprise. It was kind of like a, yeah, thanks for Among Us. If only States Row 1. If only like a lot of backwards compatible games would work on the PlayStation. I think it's coming. You know, they have the whole patent that just was out there with the whole backwards compatibility, the emulation and stuff. It's very easy to emulate some of these older games. It's very easy. If a giant PS3 fat can emulate PS1 and PS2 games, I'm pretty sure a PlayStation 5 can emulate most digital games, right? I mean, especially if it's like Sudoku or something like that, or, you know, just any God Hand. Some of these really old ass games, some of these old ass like PS1, like even Silent Hill 1. Like, I know some of these games are on that PlayStation Now thing, but I don't want to play on a server. I want to play my digital games to the best looking, like to the best crystal clear quality as possible on a PlayStation 5. Oh, really? That's interesting. Huh. Oh. I did not know that about Saints Row. Also, like, really quick, I won an auction for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 because Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the PlayStation 2 version, I was in an auction, a bidding war, with someone for the PlayStation 3 version, which I found out in the midst of the bidding war. It's like, oh, wait a minute. First of all, there's no disc in the PlayStation 3 version. There's no disc inside. The code that's, I'm like eating my own microphone. The code that's in there, it's old. It doesn't work anymore. Code doesn't work. What's the point of buying a case that has an expired code, unless you're some kind of, crazed Marvel versus versus Capcom lunatic? I just wanted to play a good ass fighting game. And I had thought that I had like downloaded it on my PlayStation 3 digitally, like, years ago. I thought that I had like actually made a PlayStation 3 account years ago to get it. Apparently I didn't. I didn't have it. I had found out that, the only way you can play this game now is if you actually own the disc. That was a hard lesson to learn. Luckily, I didn't get the PlayStation 3 version. I got the PlayStation 2 version. It's a completed box. It's coming on the way. I can't wait to play it because I also have an arcade stick that I found at a yard sale. So that's really cool. I finally have a reason to hook that up. Also, speaking of like discontinued digital games, the Simpsons arcade game. The Simpsons arcade game, the online version, I believe you can only get right now, and I don't even think you can currently get it. You can't find this on like the Windows Store, the Xbox One Store, or anything. Only if you originally downloaded it. Was the Simpsons arcade like game where you could play like online. The PC version. I know if I had a better graphics card, I'd be buying more PC games, but lately I've been getting PlayStation because I'm to believe that the GPU inside of it is better than whatever I have in my PC, than my 1080 Ti, but I'm not really sure. Who knows? Who knows? I certainly don't. Now, what am I talking about? Of course I do. I know. Hey. I know. Get it? I don't know if you do get it. I got a PS5? I do. Yep. I do have a PS5. It's very nice. I have the box literally sitting right over there. Sorry to get now, I know. The only thing I can say about how I got it, I didn't use any sort of scalper or any sort of bot or any trick or anything like that. And I've told people to do this. If you end up like, I think it's like, Fridays and Thursdays and Fridays seem to be the day that they get shipped and sent to big box stores like Best Buy, Target, and Walmart. Even if you've like missed the time that they get sold, that they get sold on all those big box store websites, go back to those stores like late at night. And I'm not even kidding. It was like I was up taking like a dump at like 2 a.m. And I checked my phone because the last thing I had on my phone window was the actual PlayStation 5 disc version from Best Buy, and it was sold out, and I missed it totally, and it was earlier that day, and I was pissed. And anyways, I was taking a dump at like 2 a.m. I was just, doing whatever everyone else does at 2 a.m. while they're taking a dump, is look at their phone. And literally the tab was open there, and I refreshed the page just for the heck of it, and it said it was available. So you know what I did? I bought it. And what had happened was that I had found out that Best Buy, like the night of that those PlayStation 5s and those next-gen consoles are sold, they'll look through the orders and they'll actually try to weed out which ones were from the same IP address and which ones were bots. So one of the ones I got must have been from like a bot account, and I just got lucky. Because after I placed the order, I was like, I'm gonna try to buy another one and see if I can get it for my buddy who actually didn't. He got one eventually, but at the time he didn't. And so I was like, I'll get it, and it didn't allow me. So it must have just been a one-off time. Did you fly? Absolutely. Well, there was more coming out after I was like, yo, PS5. That cleaned me out. Cleaned out. But yeah, that's what I can recommend. I know everyone has like their own strategies. Oh yeah, click refresh. Sometimes you might just get lucky. You might, go back. I think it was literally like 2:33 a.m. And I was, because who at that time was no one. Best Buy didn't say that. Oh yeah, hey, by the way, we're putting all the PlayStation 5s, the bots and scalpers snatched up earlier in the day back up there. And I remember like looking up on Reddit and being like, hey, I just got a PlayStation 5, and they were like, yeah, and there was like 3 or 4 other guys that reported too, and they said they got it from Best Buy, and I was like, that must have been what it was. It was a scalper account that got caught, and then they returned the stock. So that's all I can really recommend. No, don't. The console is not worth that much. Seriously. And I'll be honest with you guys. If Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, like if the Yuffie DLC was not coming to place, if that Intergrade was coming to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, I wouldn't have a PlayStation 5 right now. I wouldn't have tried so hard to get one. Don't spend more than the asking price. And I'll say that about the graphics cards too. Don't, go out and buy a pre-built computer and then yank that graphics card out and throw it in your own PC if you want to. Just don't overpay that stuff, because those guys are they're scumbags. They're just looking for a quick buck. Yeah, well, the ace hole, I think we're kind of like roles reversed, man. I get the PlayStation 5, and console wise, I'm like set up for like the rest of my life. I don't care really. I mean, Nintendo Switch Pro, that would be nice, but it's like I really need a graphics card. My 1080 Ti, it's like it can run every game. It can run every game on high setting except for like Cyberpunk. It has no problem. But yeah, I need to get like a 370 or 380. I know, it's the only reason why we all got PlayStation 5s. They got us. They got us. And also, it's like I feel bad for people who are like, yeah, why can't you bring Part 2 and integrate to PlayStation 4? They were starting. That started development on the PlayStation 4. It's in the game data. Hey, to each their own, man. Say some, I don't have a 4K screen, so I don't personally need 4K anything really. I have really, I guess technically a 2K. I have a 1440p screen that has a really high refresh rate. Yeah, my 1080 Ti, it's like it runs. It's a beast. It runs everything, and it's a hybrid too, so it's like a silent ninja. But I wish I just had the ray tracing on some of these games like Control, and some of these emulated games. I wish I had the extra horsepower for. Like I'm really into emulating like PlayStation 3 games and like the Yuzu and Xenia, and I wish I wish I had a little bit more of the horsepower from the 3080s or the 30 series. Yeah, I know. Same with 16. If 16 was coming out on PlayStation 4, I'd be like, yep, not getting next gen yet. The Nintendo Switch is the only, other than the PlayStation 5, the Nintendo Switch was the only console, like I think in the last like 10 years that I bought like on launch day. I don't usually buy consoles on launch day. And I think before that, I think the console I bought on launch day before that was like the GameCube at like a Toys R Us. So that was a while ago. Was true story. Let's go over here. Well, it was a short stream, but a good stream. You know what I'm saying? I just want to play COD and D2 on console because there's no hackers as much. Valid reasons. All valid. I personally like consoles mostly for the single player experience. Mostly. That's just me. I'll usually play multiplayer games on my PC. But, you know, that's the great thing about video gaming. Different strokes for different folks. Right? Thank you for all who tuned in. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much. What is like the next video gaming event? Is it going to be E3 or is it going to be Integrate? Whatever. Next big video game announcement, we'll be here. We'll be watching. Any kind of next big game stream, it'll probably be Integrate. And I do plan on doing some kind of big playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PlayStation 5. Just doing I guess a straight up playthrough of just the original game and then playing Integrate. We'll definitely do that here. No game streams? Probably not tonight. There are games that I want to play, but I'm really more looking forward to playing them tomorrow, like Returnal, Pokemon Snap. The games that I have right now, it's like our MLB and Nier. I don't know. I've been enjoying playing those offline. I don't know. That's just me. When? Final Fantasy VII Remake in 60 frames per second. I'll announce it on Twitter. Look for my Twitter. I'll say everything I do here on there first. That's kind of like that's the clarion call for Santiago. I'll always post on Twitter first. But then I'll usually appear here. See, do I even have my Twitter open here? Computer, can you get my Twitter active, please? Can you post it in chat now? Is that not working? Send. Computer, send. There we go. Or only Yuffie DLC? Could be one or the other, man. Could be one or the other. Doc 2.0. Thank you for saying that I'm the sequel to Dr. Disrespect. I like that. I'll take it. I like it. But anyways... That's all, folks!
If you're feeling all you kind of come be your man up with
Santiago.
If your knees go and your teeth go, maybe you bumped into
Santiago.
He flies through the night looking for a bite, but he's back home by
Santiago.
If you sort of, or you're a little, it's certain you run into
Santiago.
Santiago.
Such a father, beware of the, and pray you'll never meet with
Santiago. Slayer Santiago. What are you still doing here? Go watch one of these guys. Any one of these idiots over here, just go watch them. Just don't stand here and stare at a blank screen. Come on!